What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video. This time I'm taking a look at our boy DSP's podcast where he talked about the latest news for Street Fighter 6. And our boy DSP just exposes himself for the fraud he is. We all know that Phil does nothing but crap on everything before he's, of course, disproven without a shot of a doubt. I mean, this is the man that wanted to crap on Elden Ring because he hated that most reviewers gave it like a 10 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10 or whatever the case is. So our boy Phil is a contrarian and, will dump on it until proven absolutely wrong. And of course he decided he wasn't going to do that. He changed his modus operandus and decided he was going to praise Street Fighter 6, even calling it possibly the greatest Street Fighter game ever. And why would you say Phil would do that? It's obvious. The recent Street Fighters have just been a disaster for him. The collections, he can't play games, people troll him, he's been losing. Everybody knows about the whole buggy netcode or whatever how he claims. And he's desperate for Street Fighter. He's desperate for something that he can cling on to and milk his Dentheads for months and months and months and months. And definitely Street Fighter, he believes that, he definitely needs a good game for Street Fighter to be able to do that. So I think what he's doing is he's trying to hype it up and get his Dentheads excited so that once it comes out, he can play it for months and months and months, and hopefully it can be the new Friday Night Fights game for him. So let's get into the video.
Oh, man. It is my firm belief at this point in time, Street Fighter 6 will go down in history as the greatest fighting game of all time.
Mind you, this is the guy that tells you not to believe anything these publishers or these developers publish ahead of time until you actually see something. And he's going full throttle, throat deep on this Street Fighter 6.
Why do I say that? This company developing the game has done a complete 180-degree turn from Street Fighter 5, okay? What were the major criticisms of Street Fighter 5? Alright, first of all, at launch, Street Fighter 5 had no content. It was literally play online or play in a training mode against someone locally. There was no story, there was no even arcade mode. It was literally just play competitively. Alright? Street Fighter 6 has decided to do the complete polar opposite. They're packing in the most feature-rich single-player content I have ever seen in a fighting game. It reminds me of the old days of Soul Calibur, alright, on Dreamcast, alright? It has a robust and interesting single-player story mode where you create your own character from the ground up. As you play through this open-world exploration mode, you encounter groups of generic enemies, but you fight the notable characters from Street Fighter. If you win these notable fights, you earn experience points and their own special moves. So now you can create your own Street Fighter character that has a moveset you designed from the ground up. You can then use that character to further your progression in the storyline, taking on boss level challenges and all kinds of unique and fun stuff. There is a mode in the game that is an homage to fans of old school fighting games where you go into an arcade with your character and you can play old versions of games like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Final Fight. Now you can't play them online, but essentially what they've done, alright, they are taking exactly what the criticisms were from Street Fighter 5, alright? And they are making a game that is what the people want. If you make a fighting game that's absolutely outstanding when it comes to competitive play, that's one thing. But if you make a fighting game that appeals not only to the competitive player, but to the mainstream gaming community as a whole, now you're getting it. And it was actually way back when on the Dreamcast that Soul Calibur understood this formula. and released their game where you made your own fighter. As you played, you leveled up your fighter, you added these abilities. This was already a thing 20 years ago. And it seemed to have been forgotten and no one really remembered that it even existed. But then, recently in the last decade, with the reboot of the Mortal Kombat franchise and NetherRealm bringing in these interesting, robust story modes, as well as the Crypt offline mode, people realized, oh crap, these games can be successful outside of a competitive nature. They don't have to be played only competitively online. So why don't we add more content? That is exactly what they are doing with Street Fighter 6. And from everything I've seen now, it seems like they are determined to give you maximum value for your dollar. If you buy Street Fighter 6 and you want to play it against people online competitively, great. That's where the core of the franchise is always laid, and they're going to do a good job with that. But man, if you want just an offline experience, you could still buy Street Fighter 6 and get tons and tons of hours of gameplay and content out of this game. Imagine playing through the story mode multiple times, building different characters of different appearance, different combat abilities, and going through and really, getting your money's worth out of it. I'm very excited for all this news about the offline gameplay of Street Fighter 6. But then in addition, they did like a big expose about all these different characters that are going to be in it. Of course, we already know the cast because it leaked, but they started showing characters such as Blanca, E Honda, Dalsim, and Ken. Big update on Ken. So originally the rumor was that Ken Masters was that basically going to kind of be like a loser bum in this game. He apparently lost...
Or the DSP character.
Lost his family. They divorced him and Eliza, who was his wife in the previous games, and now he's just down on his luck trying to fight his way back to prominence. That's actually not the case. His real plot's been revealed. He's been framed by the Mad Gear Gang, that's right, that is the villainous gang from the Final Fight franchise, into basically being accused of crimes he didn't commit. He feels that for the betterment of his family, he needs to go on the lam. So he abandons his family and leaves them behind, while everyone's on the run trying to catch him as a wanted fugitive, and his plot is he's trying to prove his innocence over the course of Street Fighter 6. Wait, what? An interesting plot in a fighting game? This could have been a movie. This could have been an anime or a manga. This is actually good writing. I'm like, wait, what? This is cool. So if you actually have a story mode for Ken that explains all of this, this would be pretty neat, right? So I'm kind of like, whoa, like, you see what I'm saying about how this game is completely pulling a 180? When Street Fighter 5 came out, it was only for competitive players, and then it didn't work, okay? It took like a month for the game to even work, and then people found out it sucked. So imagine the opposite. Imagine, oh, not only do we understand this is for competition, but also there's a whole group of people who love Street Fighter out there. Hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of them. They're never going to play this game in a tournament, but they still want to love it. So give them content, give them a world, give them lore, give them all the stuff they get out of all the other gaming franchises that they enjoy in Street Fighter. You know what I have to say to that? Yes, please, please do. Listen, I'm 40 years old. Very well, I'll be 41 by the time I play Street Fighter 6. Do I have aspirations of being a top-level Street Fighter player? No. I don't know if I'll ever get that competitive bug back. But I love Street Fighter. I want to enjoy the game. Give me content that I can enjoy and not have to sit online, trying to fucking scrape out a win against online tryhards all day. Give me something to do that's fun in Street Fighter that's not that.
And there you go, pimps. That's exactly what I was saying. Our boy DSP just is desperate. He's desperate for content. He's desperate for a Street Fighter game. The last 2-3 games for Street Fighter have been terrible. And he is looking for something to use to milk his Dentheads. And that's why he is praising it. Guarantee I'm calling it now. As soon as the demo gets played or he starts playing it and he starts getting his ass whooped in the game, which is going to happen, he's going to shit on the game. He's going to shit on the developers. He's going to shit on buggy netcode. He's going to say that the developers and the game company did a terrible job, and that, just his usual spiel. That's exactly what's going to happen. So I'm calling it now. Our boy Phil is just desperate, and he feels like he needs to praise it to get his den heads excited for the game. So but we know that he'll just come back and crap all over it. So mark it down in your calendars. It's going to happen. And when it does, I will reference this video and take my victory lap. Peace out.